These guys are ridiculous. These guys are ridiculous.
Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording on, what is it, Friday? April 21st, immediately after the Celtics Game 3 loss to the Atlanta Hawks. We can jump right into it. I know Sam is very mad. I am less mad, and so maybe it'll create for a good balance, a good show, whatever you want to call it. I'm sure a lot of Celtics fans are mad. I've seen a lot of mixed reactions on Twitter. We can talk about that, but I'll give you the floor to start.
Yeah. All right. So I want to start off and say I'm not an idiot. I have to preface this by that, but I'm really pissed. Now, I'm not an idiot because I don't think their season's over, and neither should you.
Yes. Well, yeah.
But that was terrible. Terrible. I really hate a lot of things about that game. First thing and foremost, they lost that game because of effort. They didn't lose that game because Atlanta made every shot they took. They lost that game because Atlanta made every shot they took, and then when they actually missed, then they just got a bunch of chances to make extra shots because the Celtics didn't box out and get rebounds. Except Marcus, he almost died at the end.
He tried his best.
But yeah, I really don't like watching other teams just get a million shots. So number one problem right there, try a little harder on the glass. Number two, I didn't really like seeing Atlanta get a bunch of easy looks. They had 1 million points in the paint. Some of that has to do with the offensive rebounding, easy putbacks, but the defense wasn't good. Drop coverage wasn't working. They didn't go away from it. They didn't really adjust too much. They went to just a straight up switch. Let's go back to December when the sky was falling. What were they having to do? Play drop coverage. So we already know that doesn't work. Why is it coming out all of a sudden in a playoff series when it hadn't had to come out yet? I don't know why. Third, don't love that Tatum sucked all second half, and don't like that Jaylen was a no-show. They have to be equal. They both sucked, especially when you had a good Marcus game. Kind of sucks to waste that. Fourth thing I hate. Embiid is now hurt if you don't know he has a sprained knee, and you just gave him an extra couple days to heal because you couldn't close this game out because you're a bunch of bums that don't want to rebound. Oh, yes. And now you give this Atlanta team a little bit of confidence, so they're probably going to be even harder to beat the next game. They're not going to shoot 1,000,000% from the field again, but they're going to probably play just as hard instead of having a nice, easy Sunday night. Rant over.
That's 5. All right.
I'm sure I'll have more to say.
I'll pick through your rant, and I'll give the devil's advocate for each of them. And this isn't me like disagreeing with them. Obviously, these are problems, but we'll go over it. All right. Number one, you said was offensive rebounds.
That they didn't rebound.
Offensive rebounds was the first issue because the Hawks got too many shots. Celtics took more shots than the Celtics. That's
because they did a good job on the fast break, turning the ball over and getting out. But still,
I understand.
And also because Atlanta made every shot.
Yes, that's my point. Offensive rebounds, problem. Yes, agree. Obviously, you can't compete on the glass that bad. I don't blame Horford. I saw a lot of people blame Horford. He's fighting his ass off against Capella. People got to give him help. Tatum's got to crash the glass. Brown's got to crash the glass. Marcus almost died trying to get a rebound. Like other people outside of Horford have to crash the glass because the harsh reality, like Capella's just the best rebounder on the floor. That's just how it is, right? And maybe
it wasn't even him. It was Okongwu.
Exactly.
How many rebounds did Capella finish with? Do you have it up?
I'm
going to pull it up just so.
11. 4 offensive.
Not that outrageous. Not that outrageous by Capella. It was everybody else.
DeJounte had 2, Trey had 1, Okongwu had 2, Bey had 2. Those are where your problem is. And that's why I'm saying it's not just Horford. Maybe the adjustment is you throw Robert Williams out there a little more. He only played 19 minutes tonight. Maybe you throw him out there a little more. Maybe you whatever. The simple solution is the other guys are all around the court have to be better. But just to play devil's advocate, Celtics took more shots than the Hawks. Yes, they got killed in the glass, but they ended up with more shots. Anyways, the Hawks were ridiculously hot. I saw Jared Weiss tweet, this has been a good defensive game for both teams. The Hawks have just made some obscene shots. Like that DeJounte Murray shot in the corner with White right in his face. Ridiculous shot, right? Trae Young in the lane, making some crazy shots. Like I tweeted it out, and obviously it was an oversimplification. I said, end of the game, these last few minutes, Trae Young, DeJounte Murray making shots. Tatum and Brown missing shots. Simple as that.
Well, that Murray shot was off of a second chance.
Yeah. But like the oversimplification that I made.
You get the rebound, he doesn't even get the shot. Doesn't happen.
Sure. All right, sure.
Actually, I think that was multiple offensive rebounds they got to lead to that.
Again, offensive rebounds were a problem. I admit that. 2, drop coverage. You said, why would you go to it here when you haven't had to? The reason, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe I'm stupid and haven't watched closely enough. I feel like they have been doing it a little bit. It's just they've been better at guarding Trae Young, and in this one, Trae Young got hot and he felt himself, and then he was just able to pick it apart.
Well, I think the problem today started with Murray. Murray was the one that got hot first.
Sure.
And this is not this. It doesn't mean that Trae Young got hot because Murray got hot.
He was good. They were both
I started noticing this is a real problem when Murray was cooking them. And Murray was good in both the last couple games. He wasn't great in game 1, but he had a decent game 2.
Yeah, they got into the lane way too easy. The drop coverage clearly didn't work. They did switch it, like you said, but they swapped out of it too late. Yeah, that sucked. But I don't think I will push back is you saying, why would you go to it randomly here? Just to play devil's advocate, just because Trae Young was dog shit in the first 2 games. So, I mean, they've kind of been doing something similar. It just didn't work here because Trae Young finally figured out how to beat it, which, whatever. 3, Tatum bad? Yes. No argument.
Tatum bad, Brown bad. Both of them bad.
Both of them not good. And usually when you say not good, it is just like, oh, they're not shooting well. That was the case. They both shot poorly. Jayson Tatum also was just kind of throwing the ball away, right? Like he was
4
just throwing it out of
turnovers for
bounds.
Tatum, 3 for
3
Brown.
for Jalen. Not good. And you know what's even worse about that? Everyone else on the team was pretty good. Like Smart had a great game. Derek White got hurt.
Smart has been excellent, by the way. Not just today, throughout the series. So if you want to be excited about something, that should be it. Except now he might be hurt because you can't rebound. He had to put his life on the line to try and help you rebound.
He was the best player in game 3. Derek White did get cooked on defense a little bit. Trae Young was slithering by him a little too much. Although, in his defense, that behind the back contest worked for him in the first half. It just stopped working, and Trae Young, got hot, and so that happened. I saw people on Twitter picking on Derek White of all people. Like, get a life. So yes, Jayson Tatum bad is the point. I agree with you. The Embiid thing, giving him extra rest. That's just you being mad, which fair enough because
what do you mean?
Were bad.
That's completely valid.
What do you mean?
That's 1,000% valid. Philly's probably going to sweep Brooklyn. Even though, it is up in the air, in fairness, because he's not going to play game 4. Okay? Say both teams did what they're supposed to do in sweep. Celtics did not.
Sure.
They're going to get that series going sooner rather than later. It doesn't mean it's starting tomorrow. But it's going to start sooner than it would if they have to play more games. And that's a fact.
I guess. I don't think...
The report was he's maybe going to be good to go early next week.
My thing is, I don't think a couple of extra days rest is going to matter as much as you're making it sound right now. Which, like, and I understand
to play the guy not at 100%, kind of cool. Should try and do it.
I guess. I don't know. I don't buy that one as much. I just think that's just a product of you being angry, which fair enough because like I understand.
It's part of it. It's part of it. If you can end this series faster, and he's not healthy or 100% and has to rush back, he's not going to play as well. It's a fact.
I guess. Number 5, Atlanta. What was the thing? It was like Atlanta's going to play harder now because you gave them some hope.
Yeah, you're not going to have a 1-2-3 Cancun on Sunday like you could have if you just executed down the stretch. It's not like they weren't there.
My counter argument would be, I think this is Atlanta's peak. I don't think they're going to play better than this. I don't think
that's the craziest thing to say. But it doesn't matter.
I think this is the best Atlanta could have played and close to the worst the Celtics could have played. And that's not an excuse. This isn't me saying like that's a good thing because obviously you shouldn't be playing like that in the playoffs.
Celtics shot almost 44% from 3.
The Celtics were great on offense. I don't even think they were as bad as it looks on defense. It wasn't great, obviously, because I mean the Hawks shot what they did. But I'm telling you when the numbers come out tomorrow, the Hawks made an obscene amount of tough shots. And
they did make tough shots. It's true. It's true. But none of that matters if you rebound.
I disagree. But
I disagree with you.
It's fine. You can't disagree with
that. Murray shot doesn't happen if you rebound. Doesn't happen. Doesn't happen. I'm going to have to go to the NBA website because I'm so mad because ESPN, you can't check by quarter. I want to see how many offense. I'm going to be really mad if the stats don't agree with me because it's going to make me even more mad.
You can't look by quarter yet. It's not updated on NBA yet. No.
What the hell's the point of this then?
It takes a minute to update.
Good. Well, I'm glad the stats aren't there. The stats are
trying to
going to
look
back
at?
me because my eyes told me that they
What are you
gave up
trying
too
to look
many
at?
second chance points. I want to see offensive rebounds in the fourth quarter.
Oh, I can tell you that. Let me go to the game book. Hold up. You want second chance points in the fourth quarter or
No,
offensive
just
rebounds?
offensive rebounds.
In the fourth quarter,
Yeah.
5.
5 too many.
Sure.
That's what I say.
Again, just to play
Does it
devil's
say
advocate.
second chance points there too?
Yeah, Hawks had 8.
Yeah. And you lost by 8.
Again, I agree. Offensive rebounds a problem. To play devil's advocate, how many of those were on the same possession? Because again, not
That's even
excusing the
worse.
problem. Sure. My point is, as bad as the offensive rebounds were, especially, and you can make the argument that the offensive rebounds are worse because the Hawks were hot.
Well, if
Because you're giving them more chances to make shots.
agree,
But
you finally get a stop and it doesn't count.
exactly. It's deflating too. However, again, the Hawks have been getting offensive rebounds all series.
Very
Like,
true.
let's not act like this is, oh wow, it's finally come to. They had like 19 in game 2. I'm gonna double check the stats here. Celtics Hawks box. Let's see if I can find this. When was game 2? Do you know the date? Oh God,
Game 2 was on Tuesday, the 18th.
I think this is game 1 that I'm currently looking at. They had 14 offensive rebounds in game 1. Let's take a look at game 2. How many did they have in game 2? Let's see. Tuesday, I think it was. Game 2, the Hawks had 19.
Well,
So this was their worst offensive rebounding game of the series, and it's the biggest story.
I would love to know what this is really going to be. Sam really wants you to look at stats till I'm right. But
Well,
I mean, they
hit
made
me.
all
No,
their
hit me.
shots,
Hit
so
me.
of course
No,
there's going to be
what-
less chances for them to get offensive rebounds.
What
How many
stat are you
times they
looking for?
miss in game 1?
How many missed shots
Yeah,
in game 1? Oh man.
if you're
Missed
not
shots
there.
in game 1. They shot 38 of 98. So they missed
Okay.
60 shots. All right, that was game 1. In game
And they had
2,
19.
14.
They
in
had
that
14. Okay.
game. And in this game, they missed 58 shots and had 19.
Yeah, they
My
missed
point
40
being-
today.
Mhm.
That was it.
My point being, the offensive rebounds have been there. The difference is, and again, I'm not. It sounds really a lot like I'm trying to excuse the Celtics. There's no excuse. You have to be better. You should have been better in games 1 and 2. You're getting killed on the offensive glass. It's clearly an issue. The thing that bit them in the ass in game 3 was that the Hawks finally made shots. And credit the Hawks for that. Trae Young was good in this game after being terrible in the first 2 games. Dejounte Murray continued to be solid. Their role players made shots at home because the broadcast was loving to talk about that. But the difference is the Hawks made a lot of tough shots and they made a lot of shots. And you give them credit for that. And I just think this is their peak. I'm not I like, obviously the offensive rebounding thing is an issue, but it's not this new issue. Like, I feel like everybody on Twitter is talking about it like it's this new problem that's like, oh, it finally, it's coming up right now and it's never been a thing. Like, what are they doing? It's been a thing. It's been worse in the
I
first
think we
2
talked
games.
about it after at least one of the first 2 games.
Yeah.
We were like, this isn't great. They should fix this. And then they were like, you know what? We're going to give up 5 in the fourth quarter, game 3 when it's close. Almost half of the total of the whole game. It's terrible.
Yeah. It's tough.
We could be like kicking our feet up tonight if they just rebounded. That's it. Even with the crazy shooting, I don't care.
No. I don't think it's as simple as that. Was it a problem? Yes, but I don't think it's like the only reason they lost the game. I think that's an oversimplification as well.
I'm not saying it's the only reason. I'm saying if they fix that, the other reasons wouldn't matter, which are less in their
disagree.
control. You can't control if Atlanta's crazy on fire making everything. You can do your best, which, to your credit, you've been saying they have contested, which is true. Some of the shots Atlanta made were crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But what you can do is do everything you can to prevent them from getting more shots when they're red hot. And that didn't happen in the fourth quarter, and they lost by 8, the amount of second chance points they gave up. And before free throws, it was less. I would think it was 4, maybe. Tatum missed a 3 to tie it down 3. So
that's my other thing. As much as the offensive rebound thing was obviously a problem, the Celtics also missed so many open shots in the fourth quarter. You look at that Tatum 3. You look at that Brogdon 3. You look at a layup. I think it was Brogdon had a layup. Maybe it was early in the fourth. Jaylen Brown had a deep 3, but that's a shot we've seen him make. Like, I didn't love it, but it was open. Like, he could have made that shot. They just missed a lot of chances to get right back in the game. Credit Marcus Smart and Al Horford. They made their shots when it mattered, right? Like, Horford didn't have a
Marcus Smart
great
was
game,
awesome all night.
but those two made big shots. Tatum and Brown need to be better. Like, yes, obviously the offensive rebounding needs to be better. However, I don't think it was the only reason they lost. Maybe it was the biggest reason. I'll give
It
you
was the main
it was the
reason they
biggest problem.
lost.
I wouldn't even go that far. I think the Hawks were just obscenely hot. I think that the offensive rebounds and the drop coverage all combined into one annoying cesspool. I will say though, per usual, Celtics Twitter is taking things a few bars too far. I've seen this never happens under Ime Udoka, which, like, what are we doing? Like, what are our lives?
Well,
like,
actually, last year I wanted to rip my hair out because of offensive rebounds, which I was going to talk about today. I'm like, okay, like I'm starting to feel like I'm watching last season's playoffs a bit again, which is an overreaction. But
I also wanted to say this. There were, again, it's a larger issue than how I'm going to quantify it here. Some of those offensive rebounds were just Capella is the tallest person there. You lose, right? Like as annoying as it is, as much as you want to say try harder, like in the fourth quarter, Horford was battling. Like you said, Marcus Smart jumped and almost died, right?
well, the
Like
problem
they were
was
fighting.
Horford was having to guard the perimeter, so he wasn't able to even battle as much as he might be able to in general.
Yes, sure, and that's also a problem. But that's where Tatum and Brown need to come over. That's where other people need to come over. And also, I don't remember if it was that Murray shot, but some of those second chance opportunities you're seeing are also Marcus Smart is fighting his ass off and it bounces off his foot. They're fighting their ass off and Capella tips it off one of the. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if it's necessarily. Some of them are an effort thing, right? I'm not going to sit here and say the Celtics are putting in great effort, right? They need to try harder, especially the exterior perimeter guys need to crash the glass. There was one possession that it was like in the middle 2 quarters, I forget where it was, that they just kind of watched the ball like roll by their feet and they just barely got it and picked it up and ran with it. But it was like, just get it. But some of these are just Capella is taller. He's going to get the tip. It's bouncing off your foot. You get unlucky bounces. Like there were a couple frustrating ones like that in the fourth quarter. Plus the fact that Celtics just didn't hit these momentum shots they needed to hit. And again, neither of us is sitting here saying the season's over, right?
No.
The Celtics are objectively better than this team. This Hawks team had the best shooting night I think they're going to have in the series. Trae Young played as good as I think the Celtics will let him. They had, let me look at some of these other stats quick. Bogdanovich, who was good, give him credit. 15 points. Sadiq Bey making all 3 of his threes. Jalen Johnson 2 of 3. Like those guys haven't made shots, and they were home and they made their shots, so give them credit. But in my opinion, as much as, and this was your 5th point, as much as it was Atlanta's gonna get hot from this. Atlanta, they're gonna keep rolling this. I genuinely think it is going to be good to see the Celtics respond because I truly believe they're gonna come out and say like pissed. I think Smart's gonna be super pissed. I think Horford's gonna be pissed. I think all those like leaders on the team. I think Jaylen Brown obviously and Jayson Tatum are obviously gonna be pissed, but like Horford and Brown, like you see on the court, like not complaining. They're not saying anything. They're hustling. You can tell they want it. I truly think that they're going to be very angry coming in to game 4. And not to like, this is corny to put like a bright side spin on a loss, but I'm going to do it anyways, just for the sake of it. I almost think there could, and again, I'm going to state before I say this, a sweep would have been the best outcome. Like I'm not
agree.
dumb. I'm not anything. Seeing how the Celtics respond to a loss with lower stakes, instead of having their first loss be against the Sixers or the Bucks. Like last year, you saw them win 4 straight close games against the Nets. And for the inevitable people I see saying, how come they swept the Nets last year and couldn't sweep the Hawks? Shut up. Different series, completely different. Every single one of those Nets games could have gone the other way, right? It's different, just a different thing. But then they got blown out in game 1 against the Bucks. They had to fight back, and that series went 7. I almost wonder if seeing them respond to a loss and face that in the first round against a team that, to be honest, as much as they did get the win, just doesn't pose that much of a threat or as big of a threat. will allow them to get into the mindset of, okay, this is how we have to respond. This is how we can come back after losing, making those adjustments, because they really haven't had to make adjustments up to this point. Again, corny, lame to put a bright spin on a loss that's frustrating like this. But I do think that could be a potential benefit to this crap.
I agree. And I thought of this when I was watching the end of the game, because not because of last year, actually, but because of 4 years ago. They come out, they have the Pacers, they sweep the Pacers, they come out, kill the Bucks in game 1, and then lose 4 straight. They
Good
never
example.
respond from that first loss. So I was like, okay, what you said is true. How are they going to respond from a loss?
Yeah.
Now, if they come out and lose the next game, then it's really time to be a little bit concerned.
Yes, that's what I was going to also say. This loss doesn't concern me if they lose game 4. That's when the concern levels are allowed to raise.
But there's truth to that. It is good to see them have to bounce back, maybe have to adjust, maybe have to win a close game. Would have been cool to see them win a close game. They didn't. They actually were terrible in a close game. Not great.
Not good.
I hate that. That made me so angry now that I just realized, didn't win the close game. They won the 2 blowouts. We talked a little bit about this going into the playoffs.
Hey, you know what? To avoid the rabbit hole, if they can win 2 blowouts and lose 1 close game for the rest of the playoffs, they'll be fine. Right?
That's fine. True.
I'll put the bright spin.
Complaining even more.
I'll be the bright spin tonight. How about that? On the cloudy day.
I need it.
Well, you know what, Sam? For my sake, let's do a bright spin here, because my guy was good.
Grant was good. Something. Good for you. Yep. And good for the Celtics, too. It's encouraging to see Grant Williams come out after playing no minutes and then make 4 of 4 threes, play solid defense. The second thing he did after making a wide open 3 in the corner was to get a deflection and steal.
Really, really, really good.
Yeah, he was really good. He looked active. Maybe he was just a little tired, needed a couple of days off. Load management for Grant, maybe. Very good to see as you hopefully gear up for a series with Philly, where you're going to need Grant to play against Embiid,
Milwaukee,
and then Milwaukee if they get that far. Grant will be waiting for him, I guess.
Yeah, Grant was
awesome.
I'm
pissed. I'm pissed they lost this game.
Grant was great, though. He came right in. He hit his corner 3. He got a big stop, like you said, later in the game, drew a charge in a Kongwu. That was a smart play. Was playing good defense on the perimeter. He was battling down low, like I said, with that charge. Another corner 3 for him. Hit a big, was it the end of the third? It was a big step back, side step 3. Like the shot a lot of people hate to see from him. Just drained it. And as much as it was good to see him get this confidence because of all the reasons you said, right? 14 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. As great as it was to see him get this confidence for the sake of the next few series, I think what's even more impressive is that the fact he was able to do this after getting benched, right? I think it shows the mindset of, as much as I'm getting paid this summer, I'm ready to win. I'm going to help this team. I don't really care what my role is. And as soon as I get the opportunity, I'll be ready to go. Because for the entirety of the season, in the context of Peyton Pritchard, we talked about he's just not able to get into a rhythm, right? Like he's not getting into consistent playing time. He's not getting in the game. So how do you expect him to play big minutes and make big shots? And I think stepping in after being benched, DNP's first 2 games of a playoff series, being able to step in, hit 4 threes, play great defense, make both your free throws, and draw a big charge, really give this team the energy they need in a game that I know it sucks they lost, but without Grant Williams' outburst, this could have been a lot worse than it looked. And I know you can say that about, Malcolm Brogdon's ability to get inside, or Marcus Smart's. You could say that about a lot of things, but Grant Williams coming off the bench with the same confidence that you saw from him in the playoffs last year, after as rough a season as he's had, that's just, you can't talk about how huge that is for the Celtics team moving forward.
Yeah, well, you can be as happy as you want, but the Celtics are 0-1 when Grant plays. So spin zone back at you. Maybe they shouldn't play Grant.
Is that the angle you're going
for
with?
The chemistry.
That's the angle. That's the angle. What a spin. What a spin. I mean, we can talk about Tatum.
Was Grant 4 of 4 and played good defense? Don't care. They lost.
Yeah. We can talk about Tatum. What is there to say about
he
Tatum?
Sucked.
Yeah,
he sucked. He wasn't he wasn't as dominant in the first two games as he was in the first two games?
You know what he did? And, I'm
He
going to.
shot a bunch of dumb threes, shot 11 threes, missed 7 of them. You know what?
Yep.
I think we should start tracking Tatum's step back threes, and when
Instead
they
of
miss, it should be a
his-
turnover.
Oh, yeah?
I think, yeah.
I'm down.
I mean, he already had 4 without us doing that.
Unironically.
Could have had a
Once they-
triple-double.
Once they show up on NBA.com, we can go through. That'll be a fun game.
I don't want to do that.
You suggested it.
I mean going forward, like we make a tally mark or something while we watch the game. You know what'd be really great is if not only the Celtics could win, if my internet could work during the game, and now recording, it's not working. It was buffering during the game.
Oh, disaster.
Yeah, and now you're buffering every once in a while. Not right now, not right this second.
Very
but I'm
tough.
truly sick of Verizon just being terrible. Linksys just being terrible.
Worse, Verizon
Terrible.
or Game 3 Jayson Tatum this series or Verizon? What's
Tatum.
worse?
Still
Yeah?
Tatum. Yeah, because
That's
it really
big. I
doesn't
know how
matter
much
if
you-
my internet works to anybody.
I know how much
but
you hate
really us.
Verizon though. That's big. Wow.
Yeah, don't buy Tatum shoes. We're back.
Oh no! All it took was one playoff loss,
A lot of dumb threes.
or does the context like if they lost against the Sixers, you wouldn't have been as mad, but since it was this Hawks team, like it's worse.
Oh, I'd probably be even more mad because then I'd be like, "Wow, this actually matters." Like this in
Interesting.
2 weeks, this probably won't matter.
Okay.
But if they lose a game to the Sixers that is close, it could hurt them in the grand scheme of things. But I mean,
Okay.
realistically, the Celtics should just win the next 2 games. Then we won't care anymore.
This is true. If they win the next games, no one will really care anymore. This is facts. So,
Little throwback
hopefully
back
they
in
can do it.
2021. I remember we did game 3 pregame, and we all thought they were going to get swept, and they came out and beat the Nets in game 3, and then they got killed in the next 2 games. So,
And I think what was even funnier was after that game 3 win, all of us were in here like, hey, maybe they can do something here. And then it was just like, no, they can't. And you know what?
well, they did come out. They came out hot in the game 4 because that was the first time fans were back, and they put
Yes.
together a really, really great first quarter, and then they just melted.
And you know what? Maybe that same feeling of maybe they can do something here is exactly what Hawks fans are feeling right now. And
All 2 of
hopefully, hopefully the Celtics fans, or excuse me, the Celtics respond and put them in their place a little bit.
All
I really
right.
tweeted out the Celtics are 0-1 when Grant plays this season.
Yeah, I
That
wanted
was
to get
tweet
it out.
worthy.
I think
Leave him
so. I got a
alone.
couple likes.
Henry's correct. Sounds like a personal dig.
It was a personal dig.
Shout out Henry. Man. Yeah, it's frustrating because the Celtics team is better. And I truly believe a big part of this loss was just the Hawks got hot. But like it's also frustrating because the way the Celtics reacted to the Hawks getting hot was not what you want to see from a team that has championship aspirations. Which frustrating.
Yeah. I don't love it.
So,
Marcus said we knew it wasn't going to be easy. Well, it should have been easy, actually. Literally, just. I mean, he's off the hook because he was good, but it's funny that they were talking about on the broadcast, like you said, the role players play better at home. What about the Stars? Do they also play better at home because they didn't show up today?
Huh?
What do you mean?
Doesn't
huh?
make sense.
We just talked about Tatum and Brown being terrible.
Yeah, they weren't at home.
Exactly.
What you said was
I said the commentary was saying how role players play better on the at home.
And then you said,
And then
did
I
they
said,
also
what about
say
the Stars? Do they also play better at home? Because Tatum and Brown were terrible today. Meaning,
in
they
the
can't play on
context
the
of
road.
that they were bad on the okay.
Yeah.
You threw me there because what you said at home, I assume you were going to talk about the Hawk Stars. Not
No, but actually, Celtics role players were really good.
they were. They were the only like I said, every single Celtics player outside of the Stars, I thought had a solid game. Derek White had,
And that's even more
down
annoying.
game, but
I'm really happy this. Like the more we talk about it, I feel a little better because this series should be a joke. And again, in 2 weeks, this probably won't matter. And sure, hope it doesn't.
Yeah.
But if this was like a real series, we'd all be really even more mad. I'd be furious. I can't imagine the treat the listeners would have got if we did a pod after Game 5 of the Bucks last year.
What was that one?
That has been the most. That was when they were up 13 in the fourth. They gave up an offensive rebound on a free throw to lose the game. That was. I know they won the series, but I cite that as probably the most crushed I've been by a loss ever.
Was that the one where?
That was when Smart got blocked by Holiday.
Yes. Okay. Yep. I remember.
Yeah, I'd say
Very
that's the
tough.
most crushed I've ever been by a loss. And I had to get up and go to work the next day at 4 a.m. and do TV.
Oh,
And I was real mad that I had to be there.
I would have paid to see you on that stream. I will say though, Bruins are probably hyped the Celtics lost this.
Don't care.
Because they got smacked around in game 2. Granted, they're winning game 3, but it's interesting.
I'm about to become miserable Grinch Sam in a second.
How
I told the
so?
story about 2019 when I rooted for them to lose the Stanley Cup because the Celtics would have been the only team that didn't win a title that year.
Yep. Oh man, it's a tough one. I don't know what else. Yeah, there's not much else to say about it. Like I think that's about covers how good. Like we can talk about how good Marcus was, but it doesn't really feel like as
Read
good
the
to talk
room.
about anything good.
Read the
Yeah,
room.
exactly.
We didn't do nonsense at the beginning today. I didn't really have anything to give.
We can talk about some other NBA stuff if you want, since we've talked
Like what?
enough. Nick Nurse, howdy.
Good.
God.
See you later, bozo. Get out of my division. Don't have to see his stupid glasses, face, mouth, agape, sitting there on the sidelines. Bad news, it could be Ime Udoka.
Would that be worse or better than Nick Nurse?
I don't like that.
You think it's worse?
Yeah, I think Udoka's a good coach.
Okay, yes, but like I think Nick Nurse is more annoying, so I don't.
Oh yeah, well no, because it's
saying?
gonna be more annoying that the Celtics got rid of this guy.
Yeah, but I also don't think.
And we don't know why yet. They still haven't told us. They still haven't said why he's not the coach.
We effectively.
It's gonna come out. It's gonna be an excellent documentary. Make no mistake about it. And I'll feel better when I know why.
That being said, as much as it might be annoying because he's whatever, the Raptors just aren't very good. Like they're just not a good team. No.
Are they really bad? Because coming into the season, we thought they weren't going to be that bad.
I think we had them as like the 6 seed, 7 seed.
Yeah, that's way better than what they were.
The 9 seed? That's like 2 spots better.
Well, they were the 9 seed with Brooklyn being not Brooklyn for half the season too. We didn't have Durant and Irving getting traded.
What do you mean? Yeah, but then that still finished ahead of them, so that doesn't matter.
That's what I'm saying. Like they didn't really make up much ground.
Or they were the 10 seed.
Not great. Not great from the Raptors this season, of course, but
or no, they were the 9th. They were the 9th seed, sorry. Yeah, okay.
Because DeRozan's daughter was screaming at them.
Yeah. Yeah. I do think they could be headed they could be headed for a blow up this season though. I think they should. Like it's gotta be like, come on, let's cut it. We gotta call it here. Something I saw on Twitter, and again, we're only talking about this because we've ranted enough about the Celtics game. There's not much else to say about it. Sorry.
I'm out of it. I've had enough.
I saw something, or I was talking about what if they trade Siakam to the Blazers for Anthony Simons? That way Lillard would get a better player out there. The Raptors get another young guard because their guards are terrible outside of Van Vliet. A little balance there.
That's something Van Vliet's gone. His contract's up, isn't it?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, he's gone. He's gone.
He wants a big boy payday too, from what I've seen.
Well, if you're paying that guy big boy payday, you're an idiot too. Because he shot like 39% from the field.
Let me see.
I'm pretty sure that's true.
I think you're correct, but 39.3. Look at Sam.
Yeah,
Sam knows nowhere ball.
If you're paying him more than 20 million, bad.
I think it was like 25 was the number he's looking.
It's probably fair, but
I don't know though.
If you shoot under 40%, like you're not good.
He signed with a new agent though. I'm pretty sure. You know who?
Huh. Is it Clutch?
It is.
They need to ban Clutch. How long has it been since? No, I'm serious. How long has it been since I've done this?
Done what?
Like my rant about Clutch. I know I've done it to you
lot.
before.
A lot.
Yeah,
Van
they
Fleet,
shouldn't be that shouldn't be allowed because they kind of run the league.
prior to the start of the season.
I actually wouldn't be surprised if the reason why the Lakers got all those guys for free was because of Clutch.
Maybe. Prior to the start of the season, Fred VanVleet turned down a 4-year, $114 million contract with the Raptors.
It's Fred VanVleet and Grant doing a handshake. And then it says turning down contracts they shouldn't have turned down.
That is
And Schroeder gets it on like the 1, 2, 3 go.
28.5 per season.
Yeah, he's not getting that. Mr. 39%. That's egregious when you're supposed to be the team's best player. I know Siakam, like, sneaky had an all-NBA season if they didn't suck.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I feel like Van Vliet is the creator on that team.
I don't think the 39% I don't think that's the worst of his shooting splits. No, I know, but my point is last year when he was an all-star, he only shot 40%, right? Still not good, but like for a small guard like that, like Kemba was shooting like that in Charlotte.
Did the Raptors make the playoffs last year? I'm trying to think. I'm not being
Philly.
sarcastic.
They played Philly. They played Philly first round. They were 6 seed.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they were what, 4 or 5?
Yeah,
they were 5 last year.
Who's
5th seed?
Really? Who was 6? I thought they were 6.
Well, Celtics were 2, Milwaukee was 3, Miami was 1, Philly was 4.
Oh, you're right.
Philly, so they must
Who
have been
did
5.
Milwaukee play in round 1? Atlanta was
Milwaukee
6.
played Chicago.
Chicago was 6. Yes, I'm losing my mind. Miami played Atlanta. But my point is, the real issue for Van Fleet, 40% last year, 39% this year. From 3, 37.7 last year, 34.2 this year. Like that's where the problem is. He just wasn't making his shots. His threes, at least.
If you're making like 40%, like it's not good.
Of your shots?
I don't care. Yeah,
but that's normal for a small guard, is what I'm saying. Relatively normal.
Gotta pull it.
Like like Pete Kemba was shooting 42% in Boston, right? Like it's not out of the ordinary for a small guard to shoot 40 to 43%. Marcus Smart's career percentage is 38. Like he doesn't
but nobody's saying Marcus go win us an offensive, with an offensive outburst.
I guess.
Isaiah Thomas, 46.3 when he was nasty. So there you go.
Sure. All right. My point
but
is,
traditionally not very far off from 40 actually.
Yeah, exactly. My thing was
43% the year before.
My thing was just more that's not great, but the dip in 3-point percentage, I think, was the bigger issue with Van Fleet. Regardless of the Nick Nurse, sure. Regardless of the Nick Nurse, the Ime Udoka, whatever you want to say.
See you later, Nick Nurse.
I think the Raptors need to cut it. See you later.
I think if they bring in Udoka, that means they're playing ball, though. That's what I think.
I hope not.
I think Udoka is a coach that's going to get. Well, I don't know. Houston wants him, so there's that.
Houston
but I
also
think
wants
Udoka is a coach that's going to get brought somewhere that wants to compete. Ultimately,
maybe
because you saw he could listen. The Celtics are uber talented, make no mistake. But I mean, you saw him coach them to a finals and should have been a championship, but they didn't make shots.
Mm-hmm. Sort of like tonight, a little big connector there.
Yeah, but, except this game. I hope I'm not talking about it in a year.
I agree. All right. Let's talk about briefly, because we might as well. James Harden, Sam. I know you don't like it, but the Houston James Harden rumors are once again they're heating up.
There's more.
Recently as like within the past week, James Harden to the Rockets rumors have resurfaced.
I don't hate this.
The latest rumor.
Why do I hate this? Why are you saying I hate this?
Did I say that?
Yeah, you said I know you don't like it.
I just figured you wouldn't enjoy talking about James Harden at all.
Dude, you know how much it rules for there to be issues with where James Harden wants to play right before the Celtics are going to play the Sixers? That rules. Yeah. And I'm all for guys, go ahead, leave the Eastern Conference.
The quote from Woj, there may be change even if they go to the finals. Basically saying, even if we win, I still might leave. I still might be out of here.
I guess you really just don't care.
He just wants to be in Houston. He just likes it there, man.
Strippers.
It's crazy. It's great. And like, as much as I wouldn't probably be saying this if it was like jail, or maybe I would. I'm a fairly neutral person, but like, play where you want to play. Like, I respect it. Like, it's not like it's ironic to be
Weird.
saying this. It's ironic to be
very
saying this
weird.
in the context of James Harden, because like obviously he has forced his way out of 2 situations in the past X amount of years. But like,
Yeah, he pretended to be
If
fat
it-
so he didn't have to play in Houston. If I'm Houston, I'm not really sure I'm bringing him back.
as a one-off, like, I respect a player saying, all right, my contract's up, let me go play where I want to play now, rather than requesting a trade saying, send me here. Even though, again, ironic because it's the same player who's done just that in the past 2 seasons. Like, that's why I'm admitting the irony. But if that does happen for Houston, they could build like a decent team there, right? Like, they get Nick Nurse
Well,
in.
2K thinks Houston's nasty every time you do a sim.
Tough, right? But you get him in there, James Harden. I think Şengün's a good center. I think put him with the right people, I think he could turn into like if Domantas Sabonis is Nikola Jokic light, Aaron Şengün is like Domantas Sabonis light, if that makes sense.
How
You know what I'm
many
saying?
lights does it take to get it where the guy's chest snaps in half if Draymond stomps him? So I'd imagine
Probably-
if Jokic gets
probably
stomped,
Şengün.
he's fine. And we saw Sabonis survive it, though he was in great turmoil. Does Şengün just get the foot straight through his sternum?
I think it would be like a Thanos snap, like he would like the dust. That's what.
Okay.
But my point is, Şengün's a good player. He's there. You could probably trade one of like, I don't want to say Jalen Green and or Jabari Smith, but like you have enough young guys where you could package at least 1 or 2 of them with a pick and
Yes.
like a decent deal for another player. They would still have like, I was listening to the front office show with Keith Smith and Trevor Lane. They would still have something along the lines of like, if they signed Harden to like a $40 million deal, right? They would still have probably like 16 mil left in cap space. Like, that's enough for 1 or 2 like solid enough role players. Then they'd also have these new exceptions for non-taxpayer teams. Again, shout out front office pod, which is like you get like a $7 million like extra exception that acts as an MLE if you're not a taxpayer team. So like they get another player there. So like there's a lot of avenues for the Rockets to be like a pretty competent team next year in the Western Conference. So it's just like, again, from the perspective of the Celtics, see you later. Like, go have fun.
Yeah,
From
go to the other conference, please.
very interesting, but from the perspective of Philly, what the hell are you gonna do then? What's the plan?
If I was Philly, I would be mad as hell. I would be
I will
mad as
say-
hell at Woj for kind of dropping this now. I'd be mad as hell at Harden for, they're trying to win a championship. Like Philly, if there's any year that they feel like they can compete for a title, it's probably this year.
Is the best they've been in a minute. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's rumblings of him wanting to leave. Like, what? Imagine if Jaylen Brown, there were
Jaylen
rumblings
Brown?
he wanted to leave. But I don't think there's any weight to that compared to
I
Harden.
don't think it's not nearly as concrete or like obvious staring you in the face.
Yeah. It's just really strange that Harden's not apparently focused on trying to win with Philly.
My thing at that point is, could they find like some sort of sign and trade out there? Like, again, I'm stealing this right from front office show. So shout out to those guys. Go listen to them if you want. Let's talk. But like, does Philly do like some sort of sign and trade? Obviously, you're not going to get too much back from Houston, but like a 3-team deal where you give like Harden goes to Houston, Sixers get like, the Rockets send like Jabari Smith or Tari Eason or Ty Washington or Jalen Green or Kevin Porter Jr., whoever, to like the Nets or the Raptors or the Pistons or something. And then the Sixers get back like, I some sort of competent player. Like I don't think though out there's like another star you could get to pair with Embiid. Like this might just be headed for, and in the grand scheme of things, as much as you want to say, oh, they're going to lose Harden for nothing, they effectively gave up nothing to get him in the first place. Like if we really want to call
they
it
gave up
like
Ben Simmons hanging out in super cool outfits.
So it would be weird though, because like at least like I guess the only upside is you have Tyrese Maxey still. Like he's still nasty, he's still real good. So you still have like a high level guard, but like combine this potential James Harden thing with the fact that you still have Tobias Harris under contract for $40 million next year. Like you're in a tough spot. Very tough spot for the Sixers. Like, and hey,
Speaking
again, for
James
the Celtics
Harden trades,
cool. Yes.
The winner of the first Harden trade was definitely Cleveland.
Mhm.
Like the best part about that first Harden trade is Houston literally got nothing. Like they just lost Harden. They got Victor Oladipo and Kelly
And hella
Olynyk.
picks. And picks.
Did they from who? Brooklyn?
Brooklyn. They have all of Brooklyn's picks. Yeah.
I feel like Brooklyn gave picks to somebody else.
No. Hold up.
Oh.
Real
Well, then
GM.
if they got picks from Brooklyn, then it's fine. But at the time, I remember I was like really pissed.
No. They got picks. The Nets owe 2024 to Houston.
Okay, yeah, it's
they
not
owe
great.
2026 to Houston. They have swaps in 25 and 27, I believe, with Houston.
Yeah, so they kind
and
of
yeah.
got him. That's fine. Good on them.
And
Good job, Houston.
2024 second to Houston as well. Not that that's a big deal, but like also
Houston must have like went into cardiac arrest when Kyrie requested a trade before the deadline.
Yeah.
Like that really, I mean, it makes sense. Like the contract is up after this year. Like the timeline with that whole, we want all your picks after this date makes sense. So good for them.
For which one?
But it
Say
is
this
funny.
team?
Like, wow, did they nail it? What'd you say?
Wait, Houston? What team were you talking about there? Houston?
Yeah, Houston like nailed it.
The James Harden thing?
Yeah, they lined up all those picks right when Kyrie's deal was going to expire.
Yeah. Smart. Very smart. But yeah, but now the Nets are also kind of okay because like they have the Suns pick still. They've got some, and as much as the Suns could still be good, but like by 2020 whatever, I mean, as much as the Suns team has beaten, like this Clippers team is giving them a run for their money, and I know Kawhi's out, but yeah. Anyways, good for Houston. We'll see what happens there. It's just weird. We can play playoff catch up real quick. Let's take a look around the league.
Well, the Knicks are about to win.
I know you're not rooting for the Knicks.
No,
I don't hate it. I like the Knicks. I like Jalen Brunson, so
Nope,
I'm rooting
they
for
just
Jalen
did an
Brunson.
alley-oop.
Yeah, the game up.
Yeah, I have it up.
Oh my God, Cavaliers woof. Darius Garland,
Yeah.
3 for 18.
It's like Tatum.
Oh my God, come on.
Even though Tatum like sneaky didn't shoot that bad tonight, he just missed a lot of threes.
He was
Like,
0
he
for
got
5 from 3
complacent.
in the second half. He was 0 for 5 from 3. That's where it got him.
Yeah.
My God, the Knicks didn't even play like super duper well. Oh my God,
Cleveland just really bad.
64 points with 6 minutes left in the game is
Good for them though. Good for both
horrendous.
these teams because this has a real old school feel.
It's gonna tucker them both out too. The Bucks are gonna get a little bit of a.
It would have been really cool if the Celtics played either of these teams today, because they would have already won this game. Like in the first half, up 3 of 19 for Garland.
Tough. Do you think Brooklyn beats Philly in Game 4?
No,
I think so.
nope. I think they're done playing.
I think they beat them. Now,
how funny would it be if Ben Simmons all of a sudden is healthy and then Embiid can't get on the court?
Imagine now.
And Embiid decides he doesn't want to play basketball anymore.
Let me say this. It's not going to happen. I'll preface this whole thing with that. It would be maybe the funniest thing in the history of my life if Philadelphia was the first team to blow a 3-0 series lead. Just
that
like,
would be funny.
I know it's not going to happen because it's just not going to. But like I'm choosing to briefly step foot into that reality for a second.
No, I think they murder him on Sunday or whenever
Philly?
they play again. Is it tomorrow? Yeah, I think Philly's gonna kill him.
I think Philly loses. I think James Harden has a stinky game. I don't think he steps up the way he needs to. I think Tobias Harris doesn't shoot well from 3. I think Tyrese Maxey is the only player that plays well. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I really don't think Philly's going to win this game without Embiid.
Yeah, maybe.
Harden took his first free throw of the series in Game 3.
That's tough for Harden.
That's crazy. And Doc Rivers
no wonder
was bad.
He wants to go back to Houston because he can't get the ball. He has to watch Embiid shoot all these free throws. It's gonna
Did you hear Doc Rivers? Doc Rivers was like, "I'm not campaigning for them to get more free throws, but I am campaigning. These guys are consistently getting missed the most." I'm like, maybe if they didn't. Did you see the video of Embiid like falling over a bunch?
Yeah, I did.
It's so bad. It's so
Embiid
bad.
is like maybe the strongest guy in the league, and he falls over the place.
That's what I'm saying.
And then people are like, "Wow, Embiid's really not durable." Like,
Giannis,
no, Embiid's not durable. It's he hits the floor all the time.
Giannis is the MVP. He hit the floor so hard, his knee is sprained. There you go.
No,
He
I'm
stood
not
up
even making a
bit.
joke. I'm serious.
I agree
like,
I'm not joking either.
This is where I circle back to load management a bit. We've had this chat.
Mm-hmm.
All these guys are, complaining that they have to play games or the season's too long or
And
they can't
I
play all
always say
82.
I think it's more the team than the player. But continue.
Well, I don't know. I don't care. Somebody's complaining.
Oh,
There's
no,
complaints that the season is too long.
Sure. Yes. Okay. I know what you're saying. Yes. Mostly Steve Kerr. Shout out Steve Kerr leading that charge.
Yeah, he's annoying. But all these guys are like, or they're too hurt, like they can't play. And like literally 20 years ago, guys were playing 82 games. Paul Pierce got stabbed and played every game. He literally played every single game. You know why these guys can't stay healthy and they pick up all these knocks is because they keep hitting the floor, shooting jump shots, and trying to get foul calls when they
Paul
shoot
George
threes.
said it. Paul George said it earlier this season. He was like, when we were in Indiana, practicing every day, we were playing every game. Now we get sat so much that like we're just not ready to play on whatever. So I do think there's some truth to that. And shout out to the Celtics because they really didn't do a lot of the load management stuff this year. And shout out to Tatum in particular for saying, I don't want to and just playing.
Yeah. He's like, I'm just going to go play bad instead.
And I think the guys that they are load managing are for reasons of old age or 2 knee surgeries. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it was funny. People were starting to like murmur that while like Kawhi doing load management really worked.
And now he's out again.
Well,
I was just going to say this. Yep. I was just going to say that. All right. Do you want to do rat list and wrap it up here? I mean, what did we do? We did like 30 minutes ish on the Celtics and the rest other crap. And now we can do rat list and we can get out of here.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right. Can I go first?
You can kick it off.
All right. Rat list. Fuck. I was going to say, I forget his name. The guy I fell on in basketball. I was going to put him on the rat list for breaking my ankle.
I don't even remember who you landed on.
I don't remember either, but a rat list. It'll be a kind rat list because the nurse was very nice. But saying
kind rat list.
I haven't told the story in the pod. I was playing basketball with Sam. I fell on. I forget even what I was doing. I think I was running the fast break.
You were taking a layup. You took a driving layup.
Yeah, coming off a screen, gonna take a driving layup. I jumped up, missed the layup. Unfortunate. Came down on the defender's foot and snapped the shit out of my ankle. Went down screaming. Waited about 5 minutes. Finished the game. Go to the doctor next day. Sam can vouch. I sent him a picture. Absolute balloon.
Very big.
Like, X-rays were inconclusive. Very, very bad sprain. Could be broken. Have to go to orthopedic in a few days. But when I go to urgent care to get checked out, we'll pretend this ketchup water bottle that chat likes to make fun of is my ankle. Nurse goes, "Does this hurt? Does this hurt?" And for those who can't see,
does this thing that's really swollen hurt when I screw with it?
They bend it either way. Does it hurt when I bend it this way? I'm like, yes, dear, please, that hurts.
I'll recycle a joke from the pregame. It's like when you go to the dentist and they chop up your mouth and they're like, you're bleeding because you don't floss. It's like, actually, no, you just stabbed me a bunch of times.
And you know what? Bleeding. You know what I say to them now? I say, I floss plenty. I got the Dentex on strap. Yeah. But no, yeah, my ankle is very messed up. I'll bring it up here. Sam he did the whoa. It's just the boot. We got the boot.
Yes.
Leg. They gave me crutches too. You rat move the nurse. I told Sam this when that was happening. Nurse comes in. They go, we think it's just a Brad's, we're waiting on the x-rays. We're not sure what's happening. Do you want crutches and a boot? I think the boot would help, but the crutches are up to you. I go, I'll take the boot. That's fine. But I'd prefer not crutches that, because they're annoying, right? Comes back, said it might be fractured. And they go, we're going to give you crutches. I'm like, I don't want the crutches. And for what it's worth, I went to Target with my mom and did not use the crutches because I don't want to.
You're a beast for that.
They're just so annoying. They just hurt. They hurt. Crutches hurt.
Yeah, I never had to use crutches.
Not a fan. I had to use them, ironically enough, when I sprained this same ankle in college.
Injury prone. Put it on the scouting report.
My family is very injury prone.
Doc rat list.
Ooh.
He threw that Clippers team under the bus. He was like, we were never going to win. His Clippers team, when he had Blake, Chris Paul, Redick, all those guys. He like talked about it on his podcast. Him and Jamal Crawford, like, we're like, what the hell? But it's really weird. Like he was like, "Yeah, I didn't believe in those guys or anything."
Definitely
Kind of a rat
Ratless.
move from
That
Doc.
team definitely should have won a title. Like, let's be honest, Doc. Like,
Also, semi shout out to Doc though, because he kind of spoke up and swung around on the Draymond situation.
what do you say?
And he was like, "We got to start punishing the initiators and not the retaliators." Sabonis grabbed Draymond, and Draymond essentially was like, he retaliated, and like he shouldn't be punished for that. He took Draymond's side. Now,
I understand it
kind
to
of
a
think
degree,
Draymond's
but
funny, and I think this whole situation's hilarious, so I don't really feel that
yeah.
strongly about it.
Yeah.
But like people on Twitter are very split.
Mhm.
The Warriors community is very upset about all of it. The beat reporters are upset about it. But fans around the league are like, yeah, he like tried to stomp him, so he's going to get suspended. What's wrong with that? What's actually wrong with it is Embiid tried to kick a guy in the nuts and no one cared.
Yeah, that was crap. Embiid had to go there. Rat list for Embiid.
Well,
Permanent
rat list for the national media because they won't say nuts on TV.
something I saw. It was like how Draymond got suspended because of his reputation or something, and it showed like
Fair.
Embiid has more career flagrants than Draymond. So what
he?
is like? Yes, in less games. It's
but like you can say what you want about like the totals, but like Draymond's got the highlight flagrants.
I'm not
like Embiid. Well, I mean, he kind of is kicking people in the balls, but like he's not like a serial like kicking guys in the balls guy.
I agree, and I know what you're saying, but
like,
my
if you go on
point is
YouTube and like type in Draymond kicking, like 10 different names come up.
I know, and I do still think Draymond deserved the ejection. The suspension might have been a bit much, but my point is like, how come we're punishing? Sure, how come we're punishing Green for a reputation in that move, but Embiid gets like nothing, right? Like that's my issue. It's not that Green, got punished unfairly or whatever, which I don't agree with the whole thing, but I understand it. It's that like, what do we like? We're protecting the league MVP, and then we have, which we don't have to get into because I know we disagree. The first makeup flagrant 2 call in NBA history, right? And you can argue it shouldn't have been nothing. I think it should have been a flagrant 1. He should not have been ejected for that. James Harden.
And maybe it's an offensive foul, but like I don't know, it wasn't malicious. Like to your point, makeup call.
Yes,
I don't know. It's just weird that they didn't. You think like they would have been on high alert and ejected him right away when that happened, because the Draymond thing was like 2 days ago. And then Embiid's like, I'm going to start kicking people.
Colin Cowherd on Twitter saying the Embiid flagrant 1 on Embiid was correct call. It was more to the back of the leg. Don't sit there acting like he wasn't trying to kick him in the nuts, Colin Cowherd. Like he's not stupid. What are we doing?
He's not stupid. Anyways. He's just a bad shot.
Yeah, exactly.
Just missed.
Funny because he dropped 52 on the
This is the only time in basketball we've ever seen somebody be rewarded for missing, except Ben Simmons got a big contract. And Fred VanVleet makes money. So
we can wrap it up there. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. We appreciate it. My 2 plugs as always. Subscribe to the YouTube. What are we sitting at now? We at 304 still?
305.
Really?
Like Pitbull. Yeah.
What's going? Oh baby, Miami. Shout out. Great fans. Great fans, Miami.
Fans. Our pods, you're gonna like check the plays, and it's just like people start listening halfway through.
305, baby. All right. On top of that, leave us 5 stars on Spotify. Hit the 3 dots, 5 stars. 5 stars in Apple Podcasts. Leave us a review. If you're not gonna leave 5 stars, be mean to us in the YouTube comments. I'll do a personal plug here. If you haven't read my piece for Celtics blog with Derek White, I would appreciate it.
We didn't talk about this.
I didn't want to bring it up. We talked about it on the pregame show. I would appreciate if you read it. I worked hard on it. I think it turned out pretty good. It's over on Celtics blog right now. It's called Legend. If you want to check that out. Derek White's involved in this series. He's a cool guy. I talked to his friends and family about him. Wrote it up into a feature. Shout out Celtics blog. Shout out Simon, the editor at Celtics blog. They were great. I thought it was good. So if you'd like to check it out, it's over there. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yes. Make sure you go read Legend by Jack. A lot of people quoted it, put it on Twitter, told Jack he did a great job, deservedly. He worked really hard on it. He'd been working on it for months. And, we would talk about it and kind of hint at it if any of you ever caught it. But, it was a lot of work for Jack. So make sure you go read it. He worked hard. But on top of that, make sure also for Jack, you subscribe to our channel, leave a like and comment, and turn on notifications too, because we do those live streams before every game, 30 minutes before, also on our Facebook page. Same name as the podcast.
Shout out my cousin Joe for subscribing. Beast in the chat today.
All right.
Very
there
funny.
You go. If you want more of us, you can follow us on socials at How About Them C's, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. And again, the Facebook is just the name of the podcast. We'll be live there before every game, a half hour. And maybe next round we'll start halftime streams. We did those last year in the playoffs. They were a lot of fun.
Yeah,
You'd get me
be
fired
cool.
up. So there's that. Also, don't forget about those streaming services. If you are not on YouTube, you can still find us there. Spotify, Apple. Leave us a follow. Leave us 5 stars and be nice. You can follow Jack on Twitter at JackSmartNBA. Again, you'll find his piece, Legend, there. You can click on it and read it and get a great experience and learn about Derek White's road to the league, as well as his love for Oreos. And you can follow me at Sam LaFrance NBA on Twitter. Neither one of us have check marks, but you can see me tweet about the Celtics being 0-1 with Grant in the playoffs.
No
That's
check
it
mark
for us.
is the new check mark.
Well, I kind of hate it because now I get all these notifications of people that are just plebs liking my
It's all
stuff.
right. Hey, if all these other people, if Marcus Smart doesn't have a check mark, I don't need one either. Put it that way. There you go.
The Warriors don't have a check mark.
The team?
No.
What?
They don't
They
have a
should have a
check
gold one. The Celtics
don't have
have a
anything.
gold one. Really?
They're super hip. They just said, we're with the
They have a
people.
check mark. They have a gold one.
Do they?
No crack. Yeah. You're
I swear to
gaslighting
God,
me.
I saw Greeny quote tweet them today, and they had no check mark.
Well, maybe they just got one. Anyway,
Maybe.
sorry. I ruined your outro. My bad.
All right. Well, that's it for us, Bob.
Tic-tac-toe.